بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Respected brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us the tawfiq that we have gathered together tonight in commemoration of the Arba'een of our beloved Imam Husayn alayhi salatu wassalam. And I have prepared inshallah a lecture which inshallah will be of practical importance for the brothers and sisters here and those listening online and who will listen into the future inshallah once it's uploaded onto social media. So our values or our highest priorities in life determine the quality of our life in this world and in the next, in the hereafter. Our values or our highest priorities. And all humans live according to a set of values or priorities which govern their lives. We see that we are together this evening commemorating the martyrdom of Imam Husayn alayhi salam and the 40th Arba'een in a particular facility which, mashallah, the brothers, Hajj Mustafa and the brothers have beautifully adorned and decorated with beautiful Islamic calligraphy and art which transports us to the holy shrines of Imam Husayn alayhi salatu wassalam and Abu Fadl Abbas alayhi salam. However, throughout the week, this facility is a martial arts training academy. And what this tells us is the individual that founded this academy places a value, a high value, a priority on physical and mental discipline, fitness and teaching. When we see someone who drives a flashy car and must wear designer clothing and designer handbags and designer sunglasses and designer shoes, that tells us that that person values social status, image and prestige. If we see someone who is unfortunately morbidly obese and diabetic, and the doctors tell this person, you have to stop eating sugar. You have to practice diet control. Or we have to start chopping off toes and feet and arms. But the person fails to make any changes. This tells us that this person values the comfort and pleasure, the mouth pleasure of eating sweets more than they do their own life. So we all live according to a set of values and priorities. Your life, your behavior, your dress, your body, your comportment, all declare what you value. They all declare what you prioritize in life. Imagine you went through your whole life unaware of what you truly value, what your priorities are, and instead you allowed the society that you live in to determine your value system, and you passively absorb it, and that you become one that is led instead of being a leader. You would be aimless, you would be unhappy, and ultimately you would be rudderless in life, like a rudderless ship or boat out into the Pacific drifting. You would be living your life as a follower and as a victim of society, drifting. And this is where we turn to our beloved third holy Imam, our third infallible Imam, Imam Husayn, alayhi salatu wassalam, Abu Abdullah, grandson of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi, the son of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam, and the son of Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam was a leader, a visionary, who lived and died according to three core values which determined his life course and his destiny and the impact he has had on history up until Qiyamah. Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam knew his priorities. And we can diagnose three core values of Imam al-Husayn, three core priorities that directed his life, alayhi salam. And I want you to remember these three values as the compass for your own life, the true north. And they are the values of truth, justice, and sovereignty. Truth, al-haq, that there is the truth, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is al-haq. He is the truth, and He is the source of truth. It was this value that Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam placed upon truth, which made it impossible for him to give allegiance to the despicable and lowly character of Yazid, la'anahullah, because it would have been to give allegiance to a lie, which would have violated haqq, the truth. As for justice, al-adl, that to believe in truth means to submit to the truth, even if it goes against your own personal interest, even if it comes at great cost to you, as it did to Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam, the tragedy that befell him and his holy household alayhim as-salam, and his loyal companions alayhim as-salam. Justice, adl, means I submit to the truth, even at great personal cost and expense. Even if it personally greatly disadvantages me, that is adl, that is justice. Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam fully submitted himself to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to the divine plan. He submitted the reins to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even though it came at enormous personal cost to him. So truth, al-haq, value number one. Value number two, justice, al-adl. Value number three, I want you to see how these logically flow from one another. If you submit to the truth, you have to be just. And if you are just, you get the third value. And by the way, justice goes both ways. I have to be sure that I'm just to the other as well as to myself. Like the example of the diabetic. He's unjust, or she is unjust to herself. Right? Getting to a point where your poor diet control is leading you to lose life and limb. This goes against justice. We have to apply these values at the most minute detail in our life. Otherwise, with respect, we're wasting our time. Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam sacrificed what he did so we can apply the principles in our life at the micro detail. What you eat, what you watch, how you move, how you dress, how you relate to others, how you live in the society. And the third value that we can see that Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam lived by, which logically follows from his adherence to truth and justice, is the value of sovereignty. Sovereignty, in Arabic we could translate it as siyadat al-nafs, inner power, self-governance. meaning the ability for a human to be sovereign, to stay committed to a path and a course of action, no matter the pressures placed upon you, no matter the bullying, no matter the intimidation. You are sovereign because you are committed to truth and to justice, and therefore you must have the third in a trifecta, which is to be sovereign and self-governing. Imam Husayn alayhi salam refused to give up his sovereignty. Despite the bullying and the intimidation tactics, he was sovereign because he had truth and he had justice, and therefore he had sovereignty. Nothing, no pressure in this dunya could make our Imam alayhi salam buckle, give in, sell out. This was an impossibility for Imam Husayn alayhi salam. Now let us apply this model of the three core values of truth, justice and sovereignty. Let us practically apply it, brothers and sisters. So Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam can be a living guide for us. Our Imams are our living guides. They're waiting for us to turn to them, to ask for their intercession. They're waiting for us, for them to sponsor us. Our Imams alayhim salam are our spiritual fathers. They're not just historical figures that we come out once a year to listen to a majlis. This is a disrespect to our holy Imams alayhi salam. Truth is that there is an absolute truth which stands above any human opinion, any human subjectivity, any human whim of the ego. There is haqq, there is truth above all opinions. The diabetic who refuses to stop eating sweets, even though the doctor says if you don't stop, you're going to lose your toes and your limbs and eventually your life and your eyesight, is living in opposition to truth. He's living his life or her life according to falsehood, batil. Their own body is rejecting it. They're living against the fitrah. They are living in opposition to the truth. And this is the results you get. Your own body is telling you, stop. Hit the brakes. Correct course. You are committing an injustice against yourself because you are living in opposition to the truth. And if you are living in opposition to the truth, then you are unjust, either to yourself or to others. And because you are unjust, you are not sovereign anymore. You've lost your inner governance. Now, doctors have to chop off your limbs, and you have to take needles, and maybe you lose control of your bladder unnecessarily because you have violated the core values of truth, justice, and sovereignty. Living against the truth always leads to injustice, which always leads to the loss of sovereignty, loss of leadership, loss of inner governance. And others have to come in and start giving us, dictating terms to us, because we have failed to live according to the laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we have failed to be leaders in our lives, so now we must be led. We have to be humiliated. We lose our personal power and self-respect because truth, justice, and sovereignty are a package deal. They go together. Imam Husayn alayhi salam lived and died by these three core, inseparable values. Let's take another example, because brothers and sisters, I'm about keeping it real here. Some may say the brother's too aggressive. Look, we have to do real talk. We can't keep giving people milk. You have to give meat sometimes, even though meat is harder to digest. You can't keep getting condensed milk. The young person watching bad pictures and videos on their phone, becoming addicted, which is causing them to become mentally weak, anxious, and have low self-esteem, unable to focus, slothful, lazy, obsessive. Watching this material goes against truth. Haq, why? It damages the brain. You become addicted. Your brain chemistry goes all warped because you're doing something which violates haq. And because it violates the truth, you commit an injustice against yourself. And because you commit an injustice against yourself, you lose personal power. You become weak and addicted. You lose your sovereignty. See how the three always go together? Truth, justice, and sovereignty. Now, something is controlling you. You have a Yazid now controlling you, and you have to submit to that Yazid. You have to have a deal with the devil. What's called a Faustian pact. You've entered into a deal with the devil. He's got you now. I've got you. I've got you. The fast food, the vaping, the gossip, the scrolling, the texting, the bad pictures and videos. The scrolling, the binge watching, the haram money, the haram relationships, all of them ultimately lead to a loss of self-respect and personal authority and sovereignty because they violate truth and justice. And if we are not living according to the values of truth and justice, we lose self-respect and inner power. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And this leads me to the third point I want to make in my lecture, inshallah. And what we learn from Imam Husayn alayhi salam is the very important concept. And it's the concept of frame control. This is a term that comes from psychology and behavioral, human behavior, a field called NLP. Frame control. When you control the frame, you control your destiny. Imam Husayn alayhi salam controlled the frame of his reality. Yazid la'anahullah and Bani Umayyah la'anahumullah attempted to impose their frame on our Imam, their frame of reality, their paradigm, which Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam refused. He practiced what is known in psychology as frame control. He maintained his frame, his paradigm. What the environment was exerting upon him in terms of pressure and intimidation was irrelevant to the Imam alayhi salam. This is the power of Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam. Don't see Imam al-Husayn as weak. Oh, he's very strong, alayhi salam. Very, very strong. In frame control, you control the frame of reference. The world wants me to eat this and order this, and Uber eats this, and Netflix this, and binge wants this, and do this, and I say no! I control the frame. I control the frame of my life, especially if I want to have the title of being a Shia of Ali alayhi salam. I'm going to let people put their frame on me and play mind games on me? Really? You control the frame. You maintain your frame of reference. The outside world is irrelevant. Let them do what they want. I maintain my frame. This is Imam Husayn alayhi salam. We've heard stories of people diagnosed with aggressive cancers, told by doctors they've got weeks or months to live. But sometimes these people refuse to accept the frame the doctor is imposing upon them. Most of us, la samahallah, God forbid, if we get that news, most people die in the doctor's office. As the doctor's telling them this, they died at that moment. Why? Because they accepted the doctor's frame. As if the doctor, astaghfirullah, is God. Miracles are possible. Might be improbable. But you find some people saying, I didn't accept it. I didn't accept the prognosis they gave me. I didn't accept the reality that was trying to be imposed upon me. And I fought and I had faith in the healing power of the body. I'm not saying that this always will work, but there are exceptional cases of exceptional people who had such a strong inner conviction that against all odds, they were victorious. They believed deeply in the truth, in this case of the healing power of the body. Just as Imam Husayn alayhi salam believed in the truth, in the power of the truth to endure and manifest an ultimate victory through his martyrdom. The common opinion at the time of Imam Husayn alayhi salam was that he had no choice. He was either to give allegiance to Yazid, meaning accept his frame, or run away. Imam Husayn alayhi salam rejected both options. He imposed his own frame on the situation. And history has proven that he was ultimately victorious. Alayhi salam. For with his martyrdom, Imam Husayn alayhi salam forever enshrined the values of truth, justice and sovereignty. And Karbala set the foundation for the Ja'fari school of thought. For the school of thought of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. It was the crystallizing, foundational moment. It set the foundation for the school of the 12 holy Imams, the Ithna Ashari school that you have the honor of belonging to. So in summary, 1, you must live your life according to a set of values or priorities. And you must measure every action you take, every attitude you hold, every activity you engage in, every relationship you have against these 3 core values of truth, justice and sovereignty. Number 2, when you live in opposition to these 3 values, you lose power, you lose self-respect, and you begin to drift, and you become aimless. You lose your connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because you're living in opposition to His universal laws. Universal laws which if you follow in the longer term, because we have to be long-term thinkers of the Shia of Ali, not short-term, long-term. In the long term you will be victorious, even though in the short term there's going to be a pain point, a price point. But any successful person will tell you there's a price for success. You want short term? Keep going for the cheap options. Keep going for the dopamine spikes and the simple cheap pleasures. See where you end up. Number 3, understand and practice frame control in your life. Always be in control of the frame according to these 3 highest values, my brothers and sisters. And anything or anyone that seeks to impose another frame on you based on inferior values, reject it. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين صلوا على محمد وآل محمد Thank you for your attention, brothers and sisters. Allah bless you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.